So what you're going to need for this project is gloves, alcohol wipes, or if you just have regular alcohol and paper towel will be fine, sponges or paintbrushes, of course your weeding tool, transfer tape, removable vinyl. Make sure that it's removable vinyl, not the permanent vinyl. You need the glass that you're going to do the etching on, and of course you need the Armor Etch glass etching cream. There's other brands of creams, but I've only ever used Armor Etch, and it works very well. So for this project, the design that I'm doing, I need to cut my vinyl 4 inches by 3.5 inches. So I'm going to measure my vinyl. It is already 4 inches wide, so I'm going to mark where 3.5 inches is. And then I'm going to use my cutting tool to cut my vinyl. Now, of course, you can use scissors for this, but I'm trying to be a little bit fancy. Make sure that my line is straight. Also, the mat that I'm actually working on, when you flip it over to the other side, it has inches on it as well that you can use for measurement. So now I have my piece. So I'm going to put my piece onto my Cricut sheet, and I use the light grip mat. I just find that it holds everything better. Nothing really sticks to it, and so I've always just used light grip. Just a note: if you notice here on my mat, I wrote front on it in Sharpie, and I do this every time I start a new mat, because once you peel the plastic off, you want to know which side is supposed to be on the sticky side, so I always label it front. So I have my piece. I am going to stick it on my mat. And because this mat is older, it's lost a little bit of its stickiness, so I use this roller just to make sure that it sticks on there pretty well. And now we're going to put it into the machine. So now my design is all cut and I'm ready to weed. I'm going to be weeding this differently than I normally do. Because I'm doing etching, I'm going to weed out what I would normally keep. Alright, so now I have my design weeded and I'm ready to transfer the design to the decanter. Now you'll notice that on my design, I have a little rectangle piece I added on. This was just to help me find the middle, because when I'm putting things onto glasses or cups or things like that, sometimes it gets a little bit off center, so I find that this helps me find where the middle of the design is. So I'm going to put my transfer tape right on top, and I'm going to use my scraper just to make sure that it's down really well onto the design. And when I peel things off, I always bend the mat, not the design, because I don't want my design to fold. Okay. All right. Make sure this is going to come off. Okay. So before you put your vinyl onto your glass, you want to make sure that you clean the glass with alcohol, and this just makes it easier for the vinyl to stick snugly to the glass. So I'm going to put it on, and then I'm going to let it dry. Should only take like a couple minutes before I put the vinyl on. Alrighty, so I have my decanter here, and remember I'm using my little rectangle that I have to find the middle of the glass to make sure that it's straight. Okay. All right. So the really important thing when you're doing glass etching is to make sure that you have no bubbles at all, because what'll happen is if you have any bubbles or any lifting in the design, the etching cream can get kind of underneath the vinyl, and then it'll keep it won't your design won't be as clean. You'll have like little pieces that kind of hang off of the design. So I'm going to smooth this on very well. Peel this off. Right. And remember earlier I said that you need removable vinyl, and that's because once we're done etching, of course, you're going to have to remove then the vinyl. And so you want it to be easily removable. So it looks like that I'm all good, and I'm ready to start the etching. All right, so I have my etching cream. I'm going to be using a paintbrush for this one, but like I said before, you can use a sponge. A paintbrush is a little bit more precise, so I'm going to use it. So when I put my etching cream on, you want to put a liberal amount on, okay? And oops, I got really close to the edge. And be careful to only put it on your design. So I'm going to put a liberal amount all over. All right, I'm going to say that's good. I'm going to let this sit for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to rinse it underneath water. So I will be back in 15 minutes. So it's been 15 minutes, and now I'm going to rinse off my design. I'm using room temperature-ish water to rinse off the design. And I'm wearing gloves because you do not want the etching cream to get on your fingers and then you accidentally touch your eyes, nose, or mouth because it is irritating. So I'm just rinsing off the decanter until all the cream is completely off. Once you're done, you want to make sure that you rinse out the sink, especially if it's a stainless steel sink, because the etching cream can etch the sink and you do not want that. All right, so I have just rinsed off the etching cream, and now I'm going to dry it off with a paper towel just to get any moisture off. And I'm making sure to dab just in case there was a little bit of etching cream. I don't want to smear it. Okay. All right. So now I'm just peeling off, take these gloves off probably. All right, so now I'm just peeling off the design. And remember I said to use a removable vinyl, and that'll just, so it's easier for the vinyl to come up. And then for this little piece, I'm just going to use my weeding tool. All right, and so there we have the design.